Hey guys, I'm Nate Madsen, the owner, composer, and sound designer behind Madsen Studios, and I wanted to take a quick second to show you a trick I've learned or a workflow I've learned for working to picture, specifically when the picture has been changed after you've started work. In a perfect world, that wouldn't happen. We would be given a locked edit of the picture, we would write our stuff or produce our sound design and be done. But that doesn't happen all the time. Very, very often, there'll be minor tweaks. And even a very small tweak here and there, a second here, half a second over there, can make big changes to the timings of our compositions or our sound design. So I've created this method when writing music that works really well for me. And I'll show that to you. This is You Again, a web series I worked on with Andrea Kyle Peterson. I'll show you the website. Boom, there it is. You Again has 10 episodes. It's at the address youagainwebseries.com. It is a great romantic comedy. I really enjoyed working on it. It was produced over about a year, maybe a year and a half. A lot of different episodes. The crew and the cast really got involved doing multiple jobs, multiple tasks. And I was brought on as the composer. So, now it was very, very common when working with the crew that I would get a cut, I would start drafting, and then I would give her the music, and they would do all their stuff on their end, and they would come back and say, hey, we had to tighten up the edit a little bit more. I think this is due to a lot of factors. Web series, you want to be worried about time, and also romantic comedy, timing is excruciatingly important. It's very, very, very critical. And so I would have to go back and retroactively change the timing of my pieces to work to the new edit, which can be difficult. On top of that, it was also something where if this scene over here changed, but she wanted changes over here later in the latter half of the music, it was a very fluid thing. So it wasn't just a matter of splicing the master cut of the audio and moving over to the new change. It was often adding a new time here, taking away time here, making changes to the music over here, the content changes. So this workflow for me saved my booty. I'm terrible at narrating, so I'll show you the actual scene first, and I'll show you how I did the little workaround. Okay, so the main character, Audra, she moves her head away right when Xander, the guy, is going in for the kiss. Oof. Sorry, Xander. But it's one of those things where I wanted that kick to be timed right when she's like, not happening. So that was working pretty well. But let's say hypothetically that the director, the editor came back to me and said, we're going to make that change a little bit longer, make that a little more of a pause, but before she turns her head away. So this is how I would handle that change. Let's pretend that this new edit has a different timing. First thing I would do is I would go and find my anchor point. And since the MIDI starts right there, I would just make it happen right there for the marker. So I'd create a marker. Then I would reference this number, 441. So let's pop that in here, 441.01. Okay, now I have a marker, so I'm not going to forget that value. And it's tied to the DAW. Originally, I was thinking maybe I could make some notes on pieces of paper, but then if you lose the piece of paper and all this other stuff, it just gets ridiculous. So I have this tied to the DAW, and I can save it. Now, I would make some tempo nodes, and I would just either increase or decrease the tempo, depending on whether you want to speed it up or slow it down. Now, you don't want to do it, if I made a tempo node here and here, and I have my cursor here, I can move this value up and down, 160, and it will change this number over here, the 441.01. And that's awesome, except it's going to impact the music right here that's happening. Let's listen and see if we like or dislike this change. Don't like it. So you want to pick spots that don't have music. So for me, that would be between 190 and 191. Okay, and you can pick how wide or narrow of the time of the space that you want there, depending on how much of a break you need. Now move your cursor back to where you put that marker, 4:41:01, and you can move that up and down, and you can change the timing of it. Let's say we want that kick to be right when her head's almost straight back towards the camera. Right there. Go back, play. Changes the feel. But you notice it's not going to impact the stuff before the little tempo changes we made, and it doesn't impact the stuff after. And this allows me to continue. Let's say she wanted me to change some instrumentation here. She wanted me to change some of the notes or change some of the harmonies. I can still do that over here and write, but now I've addressed this change in the timing in this little spot between 190 and 191. So that has worked really, really well for me. I can actually speed it up too. Let's go back to 160. And let's say I wanted that to be a little bit sooner. So I'm going to make it faster. And since there's no music happening there, you don't have any audio changes from the speeding or slowing down of the tempo. Okay, so that's a little workaround that I've created that works really well for me. Maybe if your DAW doesn't, I know Cubase has something where it can detect all the tempos that you can use to hit all the different markers if you set them up. To my knowledge, Logic does not have that. So for me, since I work in Logic, this is a fine workaround and has really helped me keep productive and also navigate some of those changes. Yeah. So check out the web series. I think you'll like it. And I bid you adieu.